Afternoon, 12:30 Greenwich Mean Time, now known as UTC time. I kind of miss the old GMT. What was wrong with that? The arbitrary zero line they created through the Greenwich Observatory. It's basically Southeast London, if you don't know. That's where they created zero and created all the 0 degrees of longitude. Yes, longitude. And also the time zone, right? That's 0. Everything east is plus. Everything west is minus, right? So New York is 5 hours behind, California is 8 hours behind, etc. Why was it created there? Because at the time, London was the greatest economic power in the world. It was number one, without question. Even though there was great poverty, there was also great wealth. And Londinium was created by the Romans, right, on the banks of the river. Banks on the river. And so, as in all roads lead to Rome, in the UK, all roads lead to London. If you look at the map, there's a great big ring road, motorway, freeway around London, M25, and just popping off like veins from the heart. There's like major arteries that all lead into London, right? So as London goes, so does the UK. If London is wealthy and prosperous and healthy, your heart of your nation, and then the rest of the country, your body, will receive good blood flow, right? If the center is rotten, then so does the UK, right? That's my kind of thesis. And why today Super Thursday? That's I think they're calling it now. Kind of borrowed a term from America. Is pretty much, I think, as important as the general election. Could be more so. The battle for London is really going to dictate UK's future. So I'm not a fan of Sadiq Khan. I think he's a disaster, absolute disaster. The way he handled the previous year and the years leading into London. I'm kind of been out of the loop of UK affairs, economically and politically. Just I've been out of the loop. Lived abroad. Spent a lot of time in the USA. In the big cities, San Francisco, Chicago, New York, LA, Philadelphia, pretty much all over the States. I didn't really get to go to Texas. Never got to go to Miami or Seattle, but most of all the big cities I got a chance to visit. And I've seen how the booms and the depressions within these cities occur over short order, like a few years, and it's all related to capital and business, and the policies that either attract money or push away money. It's really that simple. If you respect capital will flow into your city, and cities are the most important hubs of your country. They are crucial and vital. I saw the stat, I think 10% of the London population kind of evaporated during COVID. I'm predicting half will come back, maybe 60% will come back, depending on the office situation, if the offices open up. But people with means, they saw what was going on, to their city, and just like maybe moved to their country home, retreated, hunkered down, bunkered down, right? People without the means, they were trapped. Let's continue this topic. So like New York. In the 70s, it was a crime-ridden, infested city. Very violent indeed. Go watch some movies, classic movies like Taxi Driver. Not a nice place to be, right? Part of the reason why New York got back on its feet was Donald Trump. Donald Trump investing in building skyscrapers and buying out old, worn down buildings, like I think 40 Wall Street he bought or something like that. Huge buildings, right? So when one guy, when billionaires see other rich guys investing in the city and start to see the turnaround, it kind of triggers them to do the same, right? So growth promotes growth. And you saw, even in the 80s, it took a while for it to recover, but it's still crime-ridden in the 80s, but it was on its way back from the 70s, right? And what really kicked off things was Rudy Giuliani, strong arm tactics, right? He would just to get rid of crime from the city. I think what was his policy? Stop and frisk. That was hugely unpopular, but it gave criminals, put them on edge, right? Put them on warning, force them to retreat, maybe back from the Manhattan into neighboring Brooklyn or the Bronx. Push them back. It wasn't a free for all, like it was, right? I think his other main policy was just to clean up broken down businesses, like boarded up businesses, broken windows, just little things like that make a huge impact as you walk around your city, right? Maybe put some fresh lighting where there was no lights. So simple things by the mayor. But crime was his number one focus, right? Crime was his number one focus. If you let crime spiral out of control, it's bad news bears for your city, right? And we're seeing crime in London, from what I gathered so far being back in the UK, is a major problem, right? Major problem in the UK, London especially. Yeah, why is that? Why is that indeed? Poor policing, lack of powers. They seem to be targeting the wrong things, directed their energies and tensions at the wrong things. Anyway, let's hop onto Twitter. And see what's happening. I just searched London Mayor, and let's share screen, Chrome tab. Okay, what you got? Literally, who's this dude? London elections, all you need to know. Okay, this is the Conservative dude. Vote for a fresh start with me as mayor. I'll hire 8,000 more police officers. Reopen 38 police stations. Oh, wow. Didn't know it goes. Hire 4,000 new youth workers. Good stuff, right? If it depends what the police are directed to do, like I was saying, though, right? Fresh start. Dennis Skinner. I don't know who this guy is. I don't really know the candidates apart from Sadiq Khan, who's a disaster, and Brian Rose, because I know him from London Real. I used to watch his show occasionally. So I'm a Brian Rose fan. I hope he does well. Will he win it? Probably not, because he seems from mainstream media that he is being not highlighted as a viable candidate. But they are promoting what? Count Binface? Oh my god. To defeat Waitrose Tommy Robinson. Wow. It's a lot of propaganda here. Dennis Skinner, who are you? I don't know. When did this become the vote to make London safe? When hasn't London been dangerous? That's a point, but there's trends within trends, right? Young Londoners are the ones who often bear the brunt anyway. No mayor can fix that. Well, I just highlighted with Rudy Giuliani and the biggest, most richest city in the world, probably at the time, New York, how it's on its knees and how, focusing on crime, cleaned up the city. And then what that allowed was for Mayor Bloomberg to come in, I think, end of the 90s, to give a business-friendly environment, and that just created a boom during the 2000s. Brooklyn was dangerous in the early 90s, became the spot to be, right? So that was a golden period post 9/11 in New York, and even into the mid-teens, right? Yeah, it's raining. You voters out there standing in line, socially distance. Hope you got your raincoat or brolly. So she's history grad, poet, 21. Do you want to take advice from a history grad and poet, or a businessman, a value creator, a business supporter? Because put it like this, if you've got more rich people in your city, they're going to go out to the restaurants on the Friday night, spend £300-400, not even think about it. That restaurant booms. They have to employ more chefs, waiters and waitresses. It has knock-on effects. That's the trickle down. The rich people won't give handouts, but they will spend their money in the city they live in, big time, right? Gucci, Gucci, Gucci. Now you need to be able to build a Gucci shop, who will hire young, good-looking salespeople, right? So now they got jobs, right? Really, that's the key. Why is Dubai so rich? Because you got rich people there, and their capital is respected, so they spend the money where the capital is respected. Yeah, so Tories are, austerity. Why do you need austerity? Build, spend. When you get that money moving, it creates a vortex upward pressure on your city. And city is the melting pot. Cities are where ideas come, where money comes. And it's amazing how a town of, say, 100,000 compares to the GDP of a city that's 1 million. It's not just 10 times more, it's probably like 30, 40 times more. You want people to be able to cross pollinate ideas, capital, etc. That's what the idea behind the city is, right? How am I doing? 9 minutes in. I don't want to make this too long. Folks on Thursday, this man will be re-elected as London Mayor. Oh my God, really? Sometimes politics gives us a very hard pill to swallow, and it will be Labour who will elect this individual. Who's Norman Brennan? London police officer retired 2009 after 31 years, leading a campaign on police protection, the media, commentator, gun, knife crime, etc. So he's hard on crime. I rarely use words as hate, as it's a very emotional word, but I truly loathe Labour, vile political party. Yeah, a lot of problems are self-created, and maybe that is their goal, to create ghettoization. Because I've lived in cities where they are run by the left, and capital is mistreated, and it's a downward spiral. San Francisco. I've been there, lived there, worked there. 2000, top of the tech boom, probably the most highly rated city in the world, right? San Francisco, heart of the tech boom. Beautiful houses, clean, but go there now. You got human feces flowing down the hills of Lombard Street. The Lombard Street is that curvy one, right? That's probably the one street that they will never let go bad. But you go walk past some of these like houses that are worth $10-15 million, and there'll be a gang of just lowlifes outside, like dodgy looking people just hanging around your mansion, right? You walk around and you get really tense up. There's tents actually. You get tense walking around, tents, needles, everything. It's incredible. RE London Mayor voting on Thursday 6. So you vote for first and second choices. If first choice doesn't finish top two, second choice. If one of top 2 is allocate, otherwise not counted. Khan and Bailey would be top 2. Therefore, vote count Binance Khan 2 for maximum anti-Fox impact. What? London, Thursday, May 6th, is the biggest ever local election in UK. Councils, mayors, the London Assembly and Scottish and Welsh Parliament seats are being chosen. Less demand, more honesty, more accountability, and more compassion. Yeah, compassion. Wow. Lib Dem candidate. London Lex says, read your mayor ballot paper carefully. The alphabet has made it very simple to vote Berry first choice in the first column. In this first column, then Khan's second choice in the second column. In the second column, this keeps repeating second, as we are right next to each other. What's she saying? Count bin face. Is this real? First choice, second choice. Wait, what? You got vote once in column A for your first. You get 2 votes. Why would you vote Conservative and then Khan second? Or Khan first, and that just makes no sense. This is really weird. Do you get more votes for your first choice and less for your second choice? I mean, it's an interesting concept, but I don't know how they've done it. Vote for the Greens. You want City of London, the most powerful, richest city in Europe, to be green? I mean, you want high technology to give your taxis and your buses and your solar panels and all that stuff. You can make it very green, but you don't want to implement ideas that harm the economics of the city, right? This is one of the candidates, I think. London Mayor Sadiq Khan is pruning self-serving non-entity, says David Miller. How did he become mayor of London? Look at him. He's just like, it's like a little kid, like malnourished little kid, big old head. Zero muscles at all. He's skinny fat as well. The polls are green. Time to transform London. So the guy I would vote if I lived in London, and I'm considering having some sort of base in London. But is it Brian Rose? It is Brian Rose. So he's kind of not. He doesn't really get the attention in the mainstream media. They label this guy as bin face, like in the same picture, and this guy, right? Why can't an independent person have the same platform as the major parties? Plays with nunchucks in underwear, embarrassing online. Is that embarrassing? Dude is ripped. He promotes healthy living, mindfulness, family, capital creation, business friendly. He wants you to be rich and healthy and raise a good family. So, oh geez, it's a little bit too Brian Rose for me. This Brian Rose Mayor. Let's see his actual Twitter. Brian from Mayor. There we go. I think he's an MIT grad, ex-Wall Street banker, successful, great podcaster, great interviewer, always learning. I think he's late 40s, early 50s. Never too late to learn. Let's see what Brian is saying.
Make sure you, on May 6th, make sure you vote. If you are here in London, it's very, very important. We are expecting a low turnout, which means your vote is even more important than normal. A lot of people have left London, and so your vote is going to make a big difference. Also, we need you to choose us as your first choice for the next mayor of London. That's Brian Rose as your first choice. The second choice isn't going to make a difference, really. So we need to be number one on that ballot. And again, I have the surname of Rose, which means I'm alphabetically last. So they're saving the best for last. Down on that ballot, I think it's the bottom right-hand corner. Pick off Brian Rose to be your next mayor for London. It's going to be an incredible, incredible few years. We're going to rebuild the economy. We're going to make our streets safe. And I can't wait to talk about some of the incredible things we're going to do. Every vote for me and every vote for a member of the London Real Party is a vote for our philosophy. It's a vote for ideas for change. It's a vote for our manifesto. And this sends a signal to everyone in the two-party system that, wait a second, these London Real Party people, this Brian Rose guy, they've got some great ideas that maybe we should adopt for our city. And so every vote matters. Make sure you get out. Put it in your calendar right now. Maybe you're going to show up early at the polls at 7:38 a.m. Maybe you're going to go at night at 8 p.m. But make sure you schedule that time, maybe for a lunch break. Get in and exercise your right to vote. And it's so, so very important. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Next day, I just want to be reminding you some of the incredible policies we have. And if you ever see me in person, you know that this document is not far away from me. I keep it in my pocket wherever I go. Some have accused me of sleeping with this at night, and it may or may not be true. This is our manifesto for the future. It's 50 pages of detailed analysis. This document has taken us 8 months to prepare, and some very senior figures helped me create these ideas, people from the House of Lords, people from senior members of the Metropolitan Police, senior members of Transport for London, economists, doctors, scientists, entrepreneurs, and real Londoners on the streets. They've said, Brian, my cousin got stabbed last week. What can you do about it? They said, Brian, the government, it's closing me down. I can't open up my pub. What can you do about it? They said, Brian, I can't afford a house in London. What can you do about it? And I came up with these solutions, and they're all detailed here in this document. This is why you need to vote Brian Rose for mayor on May 6th and vote for the London Real Party. It's so important now, and this determines our future. Let's talk about things that have been happening over here at the world headquarters and, of course, Brian for Mayor campaign headquarters. Well, look, we've got 2 days left until this election. We have been out here campaigning for over 6 months. Some of you remember back on October 14th when I announced my plans to become your next mayor of London. We have put in the hard yards. We have driven over 5,000 miles in this beautiful digital battle bus. I've gone to every single borough of London twice. I'm heading out on the third time right now. I've spent time with hundreds, probably over 1,000 Londoners, having conversations and finding out what you're struggling with, what are your challenges. And that's why we currently remain in second place right now to become your next mayor of London. And on May 6th, with your help, we plan on pulling off the biggest upset in British political history, but you've got to get out there and vote. We need this. Make sure your friends and your family also vote. This is the time to share this video right now. Hashtag Brian for Mayor. Tell people, share on your WhatsApp groups and your email groups, everything, what's going on. Make sure you share this ideas and make sure you share what's going on. It's so very, very important. And so what's been happening back at headquarters? Well, I've been doing all sorts of amazing things. I've been in media all over the world. And here's a picture here right now that you can see. I was on San Diego television yesterday. My mom was watching. This is how surreal this whole experience was coming. I gave my mom a shout out on San Diego television. She had to wait 75 years of her life for her son to finally say thank you. And I just want to say thank you to Betty Rose for having me, for putting up with all my nonsense when I was a little punk kid. And I owe so much of this to her because she told me when I was a kid, she said, Brian, you can be anything you want in this world. You just have to dream and you have to put in the work. And she's the one that showed me the world. She took me to Hong Kong. She took me to Japan. She took me to Europe on a European vacation, 20 cities in 20 days, just like the movie with Chevy Chase. And that's when I fell in love with London. That was in 1987, a long time ago. Wow, that's a long time ago, 30-some plus years. And that's why I'm here. I fell in love with the city then, and I'm back, and now I'm back to become your mayor. So if you want to watch that video, you can see it on YouTube. You can see it on Instagram as well.
Wow, what a story, eh? What a story. Was it Betty Rose, his mum? Good lady, sounds like. Yeah, supporter, cheerleader. That's a good woman right there. What else is happening? So yeah, second place. That's great to see. Could be a low turnout, like I've mentioned. Brian mentioned, a lot of people left. A lot of people left with their money, so that makes London poorer, right? Will this guy bring it back? Hold on, let's see. Hold on, I'm gonna mute myself.
So we just voted for the next mayor of London. What was the question you asked me, baby?
Are we going on holiday? Yeah. With no Wi-Fi?
Do you want to do this again sometime, baby?
No. Thank you.
All right, we just went to the polling station here. Boom, just cast our vote. Make sure you go out there and vote today. The whole family did it. It was a family effort. Everyone was involved, right? Did you vote? Get out there and vote today. I want to thank you so much for everybody for the support. We both appreciate it. And let's give a shout out to this woman who put up through all of this stuff. Baby, thank you. We love you so much for our support. All right? Thank you. Bye. Come. So we just voted for the next mayor of London.
What a man. What a family. Let's see some comments. No comments. Sadiq out. Yes, please. Top man, good luck. Offensive replies. Yeah. Let's see what Sadiq out brings us. I'll go for another few minutes. Put in the work. Just dream it and put in the work. Yeah. I'm proof. Been working my ass off. Decades. Today, I stood next to the Houses of Parliament, demanded an end to the two-party system. Yeah, it's another good video. I'll watch this and then I'm going to call it. All right. Couldn't have said anything better or than Brian did. He's absolutely correct. London could be the most important city in the West. You just need a will and a drive to put it at number one. It can be possible. It can be done very easily. Yeah, May 6th. Polls are open. Do the right thing. Vote Brian for your next mayor.